Let's make it a good day.
Today on The Jason Show, it's one of the most iconic movie voices ever.
No, I am your father.
Darth Vader. Find out how James Earl Jones will keep the Dark Lord going for years and years. Then, calling all boy band fans, Jeff Simmons from 98 Degrees will join us live. And Monday means we're hearing from you when we open up the Jason Show mailbag. The Jason Show starts right now. Here we go.
Let's make it a good day. We do it our own way. Let's make it a good day. Oh, no matter what they say. Oh, yeah.
Bippity boppity boo. I'm back. Like magic. Disney magic. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Jason Show. Hi. Hi, Kendall.
Hi, Jason.
How you doing?
Good. Hi.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Welcome. Thank you. Let's get started. And let's get started by saying hello to my good friend. Audience, keep that love going. It's just to my right, it's Kendall Mark, everyone.
Hi.
How you doing?
Hello. Welcome back.
Hello.
Welcome back home.
Thank you. It's good to be back. I know this will shock no one. I was in Florida over the weekend. I know.
Disney World?
What?
Disney World?
And I escaped just in time before Hurricane Ian Leonard came. What was it? It's Hurricane Ian, right?
It is.
Hurricane Ian. And no matter, it's like us in the winter, no matter where I was, no matter the Uber, the bus, the ride, everybody was talking about, it's the first hurricane that's going to hit that area in several years. So everybody got on the Uber yesterday, and it was the Uber driver was from New Jersey originally, you could tell, and she was, I'm very sorry, I got to listen to the radio. And I go, no, please,
Okay.
it's okay, you live here, you know. But I got to tell you, my favorite thing is, half the show sometimes is me trying to make you laugh and telling you stories, and I tell you a lot of plane stories because, Colin and I travel somewhat, and we usually go down to Florida. And I love flight attendants. Your mom was a flight attendant. I think they do God's work, man, because the public is just nutter butters, and sometimes they're treated poorly. So I try to always treat them really, really well. So I'm on the flight, and I'm in Comfort Plus.
Yes.
Which I say that because I got to tell you.
Because you weren't in first class? Don't look at me like that.
How dare you? No, but I'm in Comfort Plus, and I love you, Delta. But I gotta tell you, you really only get like you get a centipede's leg more leg room.
Just the plus
It's really
sign.
they charge you like $100, and it's like a centipede's leg. That's all you get. It's not that much better. But anyway, I digress. So I'm on the plane, and I board the plane, and I can tell instantly that it's a Minnesota-based crew. Because I walk through the jetway, and I see the flight attendants at the door standing there, and the flight lead kind of looks at me and smiles, and I go, hi. And she was, hi, I listened to the radio show, and I watched the TV show. I go, thank you so much, I really appreciate that. And I go, hi, everybody, and I said hello to the two other flight attendants. So I sit down, go through the flight. They were great. If Delta bosses are watching, you have a great crew that did the flight, the 6 p.m. flight from Orlando to Minneapolis yesterday. So they did a really good job. They were fantastic. So I'm sitting there, and the flight attendant, he was a male. I say that because I can't remember his name. He comes over and he brings me a little vodka soda, and I go, oh God, I didn't even order it, but thank you. Like he knew.
How did you know?
He knows my order. So we get done. So we're getting ready to land, and when they come around to collect the trash for one final time, he comes over and he goes, do you have any trash? I go, yeah, okay. And he goes, oh, and by the way, don't say anything bad about me on the show tomorrow. And I went, I won't, I promise. So I said, it'll be all. I go, God, my reputation is like cemented with the flight attendants. They know I'll tell you guys. So I have nothing bad to say. They were delightful, and I'm very grateful. So they were so good yesterday. Yeah.
He brought you a vodka.
They brought me, yeah. little baby bottle, and yeah, it was.
Unannounced.
They were so good, but anyway, it was a good time. Let's get started, everybody. It's time for the hot dish. Roll it, Leo. Here we go. I did a little.
Kitchen face.
Yeah, got a new background today. Look at this fancy. It's beautiful. Thank you, Kimberly. I love it. Magenta. Anyway, one of the most, I showed this to Colin. Colin goes, I can't read it. I said, it's my name.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's everywhere else.
It's Jason. Just one of the most iconic voices in Hollywood could be calling it quits. Look.
There is no escape. Don't make me destroy you. Luke, you do not yet realize your importance. You have only begun to discover your power. Join me, and I will complete your training. With our combined strength, we can end this destructive conflict and bring order to the galaxy. I'll never join you!
Well, here's the deal. You all know, unless you just landed here from, Venus, you know that James Earl Jones is the voice of Darth Vader, that grand man right there. Well, it was announced over the weekend that he has signed over the rights to his voice to Lucasfilm and Disney to continue using artificial intelligence to recreate the Darth Vader voice. He's 91, and just to put, he debuted as Darth Vader in 1977. So he's been doing this for a while. So let me explain this. This is why I was really excited to bring this to you. This really isn't a Star Wars story. There's two aspects of it that I thought was really cool. First, he wanted to do this because he wants Darth Vader to live on past him. And he didn't really want, and look, there's only one James Earl Jones. There are other people that do Darth Vader voices for the video games and some of the cartoons, some. He does some of them. But he wanted us fans to continue to enjoy Darth Vader. The second cool aspect of this, the company is called, I think, Respeech. Listen to this. They're a Ukrainian company, and they're based in Ukraine, and they were working on the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. They wanted to finish it. They had such pride in doing this. There were such big fans. Bombs were falling in Ukraine as this company was working on this show. And they wanted to finish Darth Vader. And so what they do is they take, I'm parsing this down. They take James Earl Jones as Darth Vader from the 70s, because he's 91, your voice changes.
Right.
They use that as the template and recreate every word. The technology is so mind-blowing.
Like crazy deep fake. I mean, that was a
Deep
big
fake, yes.
thing on
So
the internet a few years ago.
Yeah, so the Darth Vader that you hear in Obi-Wan, it's James Earl Jones, but it's not. You know what I mean? It's him. It tricked me. I sat here on the show and thought that James came back. He didn't. He guided it, but that wasn't him. That was a computer.
And so I'm guessing that since they have the rights to it, part of it too is that now his legacy lives on for his family as well. I mean, financially speaking.
Yes, I think Disney, Mickey Mouse went to the bank and is writing the
checkbook.
Jones family a nice check. Yeah. Next in the dish, I wonder if you guys saw this. Winona Judd was on CBS Sunday Morning yesterday. It was her first interview since the death of her mom. And she talked about, amongst other things, and if you're a fan, you knew they had a very complicated relationship. Look.
We were incredibly close, and then she'd get mad at me, and why did you do that? And then we'd not get along and be disconnected, then we'd come back together and hug and cry. It was incredibly complicated. We tried really hard, and those are the tears, because I know that we tried. And we did pretty damn good. Most of the time.
Well, I mean, so many people can relate to that. You know what I mean? It's a complicated relationship sometimes, especially when it's in the public eye like them. I mean, for the youngins that don't really, in like the 90s and the late, they were, stratospheric. I mean, they were superstars. Not that the Judds aren't now, but they were everywhere.
Right, and everything.
Everything.
And I would argue that, at least my age, I knew a little bit more about Ashley Judd than I did about Winona or Naomi, just because she was in a bunch of movies at the time.
Well, and it was interesting that you brought up Ashley, because Winona said that if there's a positive, and I'm paraphrasing, if there's a positive, her and her sister, who have also had a complicated relationship, have never been closer.
Right.
So that's good. I mean, if something horrible is going to come from this, because y'all know that Naomi died after a really long battle, a long struggle with depression.
Right.
So just the day before they were going to be inducted into the
still
Country
went.
Music Hall, and she still went. And she's
so
going on
cool.
tour. Winona's still doing the tour. Next on the dish, award shows now have a new rite of passage. Everybody must ask Chris Rock to host. The Golden Globes are the latest show to ask Chris to host. Now remember, we just told you this a couple weeks ago, he turned down the Oscars. Well, apparently the Globes offered Chris a ton of money. Our research team tried to figure out how much, and we could not figure out.
Nope.
I know. We couldn't, Ted and Jeff couldn't count that high.
Too many hundreds.
That's how much it was. And Chris said, no, thank you, but no thank you. The Globes are back. We told you about that. They're going to be on NBC in January. Let's just say, he's not. Producers, stop asking him to host these things. He's not going to do it.
No.
You know why he's not going to do it? Because he's a smart businessman. He's going to address the Will Smith thing fully at his own show, where he can charge us to buy tickets and we buy the tickets. You know, look, that's what you do. I mean, he's smart. That's what he's not going to talk a lot about this until he's ready to, and on his own terms.
Well, and every single one of these shows, if he actually went and hosted it, it would only be about that. Every joke, every acceptance speech, so it would just take away from everything else.
Yeah, let the man take. He got punched on. He got slapped on national TV.
For real.
Let him take back his power and use it to benefit him. We have a lot more to come. Oh, if you're a boy band fan, you're not going to want to miss that and more coming up. We'll be right back. Back in a moment. Like a Southern woman. So I yelled at this group of teenagers in an elevator.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm at the hotel. And you know, I love kids on a case-by-case basis.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Oh.
But now I'm starting to realize I have an asterisk now. Are you ready for it?
Yes, please.
Jason loves children. I don't know about teenagers. You know?
Oh, I'm shocked.
After the Royal Caribbean cruise, remember that?
Yes.
So I'm at the hotel over the weekend, and I'm in an elevator, and there's a woman next to me, delightful. For the sake of the story, we'll call her Gladys.
Gladys.
Gladys is probably in her mid-70s. She's standing there. We have a 4-floor conversation.
Oh.
Gladys, how you doing? I'm fine. How are you? We're talking.
Lovely.
Delightful woman. We're going down. The elevator door opens, and there is a gaggle of obnoxious teenagers.
Yes, they travel in packs.
And they rush into the elevator.
They rushed your elevator? Sorry, continue.
Wait till the story's done, and then you're going to feel bad because they rush the elevator, they run in because they're like, and they almost knock her down. And I grab her back, and I go, what are you guys doing? And and then the girl in the back, she was like on her phone, she was like twisting her hair, and she starts to snicker, and I go, I don't know what's funny. And I'm saying, like, Jason, you're yelling at these teenagers.
Teenagers love being yelled at.
But Gladys rubbed my back and was appreciative because they almost knocked down that woman. And it's like, first of all, don't rush it. Let people, I think the general rule is let the people exit before you enter. There were like 7 of them, and they almost knocked down my new buddy Gladys. So I take care of my seniors. And yeah. So again, Jason loves children.
Does he?
Teenagers? I don't know. John Oliver poked fun at the line to see the Queen on his show last night, and that's her late night rewind. Look.
The queue to end all queues.
In London, people are continuing to queue for hours to pay their respects to the Queen, who's lying in state at Westminster Hall.
The late Queen has done us proud. She's brought the country together. She's brought together probably the best British queuing of all time.
We didn't used to be good at queuing. We were famous for rioting and cutting kings' heads off.
It's become this gargantuan human snake engorged on bouquets of flowers and a million mini Paddington bears.
So many people turned up to pay tribute, they had to close the queue and put them in a holding pen in another queue.
If people don't feel the urge to queue, what does it say about them?
The Brits love a queue, but this was the queue of all queues.
This queue is different to all other queues I've ever been in.
It's the queue to end all queues.
I've spoken to people who had no intention of joining the queue. They just got sucked into it, such is the seductiveness of the queue.
The queue to end all queues. They obviously haven't been to Disney World. I'm just going to say that, yeah.
Just got sucked in.
Yeah, it's time for a special serving of hot dish all the way from Hollywood. Audience, give it up for our friend Brad from TMZ. Hi, Brad.
Hey, good morning, guys. Jason, I was going to say with that queue, at one point, why did they just drive her by everybody? It got so long.
I know.
It would have made a lot more sense.
I know, break protocol, beep, beep.
Just drive her by. That's all they needed.
Yeah. Okay, first up, this news broke over the weekend. Rihanna, the Super Bowl, the halftime show. What do you guys know? You broke it.
Yeah, pretty exciting news. Not only music news, but obviously NFL news. We broke this story yesterday, Jason, that these talks were happening and they were very advanced and that Rihanna was interested, the NFL was interested, and then Rihanna posted that photo of her arm holding up a football, and it was confirmed. And this makes a lot of sense because remember, it was a couple years ago, the NFL was getting a lot of criticism for not having any diversity in its halftime shows. Jay-Z and Rock Nation got on board, have helped them plan these shows out, and Rihanna is under Jay-Z's Rock Nation. So this connection makes a lot of sense on a lot of different levels.
More than just that, I mean, I will say I've had this conversation with various people, and you know this, Brad, there are very few entertainers left that can command that stage all by themselves. I mean, and if they are, they've already done the Super Bowl, or we've sadly lost them. Rihanna is one of the last few that could pull this off.
Absolutely, Jason. And if you'll remember, before this story even broke, last week people were talking about Taylor Swift, which made a lot of sense because she's one of the biggest names in music. She hadn't done it yet either. But you're right. I mean, after Rihanna and Taylor, I think it's going to get harder where maybe we'll see more of these collaboration performances like we saw with Dr. Dre last year.
Like the Oak Ridge Boys or something. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
There's a name from the past. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. The audience liked that one. The Don't Worry, Darling cast and crew, they're really not promoting the movie so much. They're like putting out drama fires. What's happening now?
Another drama fire over the weekend. There was a report that Olivia Wilde and Florence Pugh had gotten in a screaming match on set because Florence was so upset that Olivia would disappear. She'd show up late. She wasn't really attentive. But the cast said, hey, wait a minute, we're going to put an end to this because almost 40 members of the cast and crew signed a letter that they put out over the weekend saying that that was absolutely not true. Olivia was a pleasure to work with. There was no screaming match. She was a hands-on director, and that drama was fake. As for Spitgate, I know a lot of people have talked about that with Harry Styles and Chris Pine. I'm going to let the video speak for itself. I don't care how many people signed that letter.
And finally, last week, you guys showed us, this was awful, when Post Malone fell in that hole on stage.
Yeah.
And things are more serious than we thought even that day.
Right, so we knew when he fell on stage. I mean, it was really bad. He broke a couple ribs, but he was back performing again. He hit a wall in Boston on Friday night because he was supposed to take the stage, and he had to cancel last minute. He sent a message out to his fans. He said, look, I usually sleep in late days of my shows. I woke up. He said, I felt a crunch on my ribs. I'm at the hospital now getting some treatment. He's supposed to have a show, Jason. I think it's either tonight or tomorrow. So we're trying to figure out if that's going to happen as planned.
Oh, awful. Brad, have a good week, my friend. Thank you.
You too. Thanks, Jason.
More of these stories at TMZ.com. Mike is a fill-in producer on the radio show. He's been filling in while my buddy Dawn's been on a Griswold European vacation.
Oh.
And look, kids, Big Ben. And Mike went to see Don't Worry, Darling, and said it was horrendous. Like, awful. To the point where the audience was laughing, and not because they were supposed to. Yeah.
I heard the third act was like...
I heard it was, like a bad M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Yeah, when it goes...
Like, well, I mean, that's like a... Anyway, yeah. Next in the dish. Hashtag the village, never again.
Never
And then
again. That was so disappointing.
Hashtag lady in the water. When Opie Cunningham's daughter turns into an eagle at the end and flies away.
Spoiler alert.
I was done. Yeah, spoiler alert. Don't go see it. I just saved you $8. There we go. Next in the dish, a young music. She does! Opie Cunningham's daughter. She's a woman in a pool. Everybody's wondering why she's in the pool. And then at the end of the movie, nobody explains it. All of a sudden, Paul Giamatti walks out there with like some birdseed or something, and she flies away.
Might have to see it. I don't know.
She does. She flies away at the end of the movie. I don't know what kind of bird.
What
Who
kind
cares?
of bird?
Jeff just asked what kind of bird.
What kind of bird? What do you? No.
A woodpecker. I don't know.
An eagle.
Let's move on. I'm a phoenix, yeah. Thank you, audience. Happy birthday, by the way. A young musician, somebody's birthday is in today. A young musician who rose to fame thanks to Ellen is now unleashing on the former talk show host. Grayson Chance opened up in a recent Rolling Stone interview. That's him right there. He was 12 when Ellen first saw his YouTube video. The 25-year-old, he's 25 now, says he's never met someone more manipulative, more self-centered, and more opportunistic than Ellen. Now, at the time Ellen was getting into the music biz when she signed him to her brand new record label, he said she became domineering and controlling and was often degrading to people, and he witnessed it.
Oof.
I looked at the story because I read it off of BuzzFeed, and you know how BuzzFeed, I just tried to be objective. BuzzFeed has a thing with Ellen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna, not that things aren't true about her, but I always take their reporting on her with a little grain of salt because I'm not joking. If you go to put BuzzFeed Ellen in, they are on her case, man. Having said that, where there's smoke, there's fire. There are so many of these Ellen stories, and now here's another one.
Mm-hmm.
They all can't be wrong, is my point.
He didn't hold back either.
No.
He's like, manipulative, horrible human being.
She yelled at his mom. She wanted him to watch the Justin Bieber documentary from like years ago, and he didn't. And she allegedly berated him and his mom for not watching because she wanted him to kind of emulate Bieber's career.
Oh.
Now look, here's again, to be fair,
right.
If only 30% of what he said is true, still bad. You know what I mean?
Right, because he was so young. I mean, there's no reason to make a kid feel like that.
No. Next on the dish, Oprah Winfrey and Apple TV Plus signed a multi-year content deal, very fancy, back in 2018, but apparently it's over. They're all walking away. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Oprah and Apple will work together on a project by project basis. Oprah and Apple just debuted. This is what's weird about this. They just debuted their latest collaboration, Sydney, a documentary film about the great Sidney Poitier. But two of Oprah's most high-profile programs have been her interviews with Harry and Meghan and Adele, not on Apple, on CBS. Mm-hmm. And that's not a coincidence because two words, Gayle King. Just gonna say, yeah. And she does have a good relationship with CBS.
Right. I mean, I don't think anyone's super, thrown off by this one because you haven't really heard a ton about Oprah and what she's been doing with Apple TV Plus. Like, I didn't even remember that they had a contract.
Not after there was a push. Mm-hmm. We talked about it. She did the Oprah conversation. I thought, oh, this is a
cool.
good. And the book club was there. Oh, this is a good collaboration. I don't know if it ever really gelled. But I just watched her on Instagram. She was on the red carpet for the Sydney premiere. Mm-hmm. She was glowing about Apple. She was, wow, Apple knows how to do a movie premiere. So I was a little surprised by this. But now I think she just needs to put all of her Oprah eggs in one basket. You know what I mean?
Instead of all the bunny baskets.
Lot of, what? When do they hatch? They turn into Pontiac Grand Prix, or Pontiac G6s. Yeah.
You get caught.
You get it. Anyway, yeah. We're going to take a break. It's Boy Band Palooza Plus. You're going to find out, well, you'll see. We'll be right back. Back in a moment, everyone. The dish is done, but the fun is just getting started. Next. A summer night, tuck the top down on a car, yeah. It is a boy band lover's dream. A new show is touring the country, and we're getting a sneak preview from Jeff Timmons from 98 Degrees. Then,
Find out why one viewer said that I'm as mean as Wendy Williams when we open up the Jason Show mailbag. That and more when we come back.
Elvira. The audience and I were having a little Oak Ridge Boys dance party there in the break. Yeah. Elvira. Bow wow. Anyway, so good. Well, let's continue with the, thank you, audience. Let's continue with the music theme. The boy band craze was a real thing in the late 80s, or late 90s and the early 2000s. And our next guest was and continues to be at the center of it all. Look. Well, he's become a friend of our show over the years. Audience, give it up for Jeff Simmons from 98 Degrees. Hi, Jeff.
How you doing, Jason? Thanks
Hi, buddy.
for having me. I appreciate it as always.
Hey, I love when you stop by. Thank you so much. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing great, man. Just keeping busy and thankful for it. You know, after the pandemic, it was pretty crazy. We were stuck doing these Zooms and these kinds of performances. In fact, I think we even did one during that time.
We did.
You know, Zoom satellite, and it's great to be back on the road, be back in front of people. You know, performing live. It feels amazing.
Jeff, you know, that's actually a good place to start. I was listening to Stern, and Imagine Dragons was on there, and they were talking about how the pandemic for them led to a lot of creative moments and revolution. Did anything creatively positive come from that? Because you and I did speak during that time. Did anything positive creatively come from that time for you?
Absolutely. As terrible as the pandemic was, you know, the whole industry had to shift. So there were all these developing technologies and ways for fans to communicate with their favorite artists, and you know, some very, very cutting edge stuff developed. And I mean, look, and outside of the entertainment part of it, you get to spend more time with your family. And you know, look, as tough as this business is, you know, you have to, you know, take things as they come. And we got used to just performing on the weekends and then going home, and you sort of get kind of spoiled with that routine. And the pandemic kind of forced you to pivot and get creative on just everything with regards to your career, communication with your fans, interviews like this. This would have never been in vogue back in the day. Maybe once in a while. Now it's sort of the thing to do. And you know, I think there were obviously the pandemic was horrible, but you know, and there were some parts that were sort of a blessing in disguise, I think.
Yeah, it's a good point. Practically speaking, I'm imagining that's your home right there. We would never be talking to you at your house like 7 years ago.
No, I mean, you know, look, you come into the studio, or you don't do an interview. You do an occasional phoner if you're on the radio, but they don't see you. And then, you know, look, the pandemic forced us to sort of find out different ways, become innovative in how we, you know, could promote products and get ourselves out there with regards to things we were doing, and kind of keep our fans informed. Speaking of promoting a boy band Christmas, tell everyone about that. I love this. Well, it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, look, you know, this was originally set to be a 98 Degrees tour, and unfortunately, we couldn't make it work with Nick. And you know, we would love to have done that as a group, but you know, we've had sort of these mix and match sort of shows with groups from different band members and stuff like that, like the After Party and ATCK and Backsync. We thought, why not do a Christmas version of it? I mean, we've toured with these guys, you know, obviously with our groups together over the years. Why not put it all together and have some holiday fun? Sing the classics, sing all the hits, but you know, sprinkle in some holiday greeting cheer as well. So, Jeff, did you ever imagine? And you and I have talked about this before. The fact that there's been like a renaissance of this era of music. I mean, you and I are about the same age. That you guys, this boy band era, and like you said, all of the versions, the mixtape tour, and you guys on tour, and NSYNC and Backstreet. Did you ever think that this? I mean, music and entertainment is cyclical, but did you ever think that the pendulum would swing back to you guys in such a successful way? Well, never, you had hoped, obviously, never in a million years when we started the group and we saw the ebbs and flows of things, did we really think we would be around doing this? You know, we're almost 27 years into our careers since we met. And so we feel blessed and fortunate. Certainly didn't expect it, but, you know, I think we came at a time, it was pre 9/11, a lot of innocence there. A lot of our fans were mostly teen girls. And I think there's a certain nostalgia to that era. And the music at that time that people have a love and affinity for. And not only that, it's where a lot of these girls and guys met their best friends, and they share an experience together and share that nostalgia and love for this type of music together. So as much as we think we're cool, there are things beyond the music and our group ourselves that sort of draw people to this genre and this sort of style of music.
Yeah, 20-some years and you haven't aged a bit. I hate you. I mean, seriously, you haven't aged a bit. I tell you that every time.
I'm using that Zoom filter.
No, you are not.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm using that.
We're gonna.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, man.
No, go ahead, Jeff.
No, I noticed today when I got on, I was like, there's something that says your enhancement. I was like, do I press it? It almost makes my face not even exist. So I kind of just went with the soft lighting.
That's the filter they use here at Fox for me, Jeff. It just smooths everything out. We're going to take a break. More fun with Jeff when we come back. Back in a moment. By the way, Leo, keep that filter on, by the way, when I'm with Jeff. Welcome back. We are back. We're back with our friend Jeff Timmons from 98 Degrees. Before we play a game, Jeff, I was wondering, you're talking about the era that you guys rose to popularity, and we always talk about celebrities now with, Twitter and Instagram and OnlyFans and all this stuff. How do you think you would have handled being a teen star in this era where there's so much more pressure?
I just don't know. I mean, it was tough for us, and we were teens. We were in our early 20s.
Yeah.
We had none of these things at our disposal. Now, look, sometimes I look at them and go, "Wow, we would have been exponentially bigger had we had all these tools and these tech gadgets at our disposal to grow our fan base." But at the same time, looking back, being in my early 20s and from a small town in Ohio and sort of being thrown into the fire and almost experienced what seemed like almost overnight success, it was really tough. I mean, we didn't know who to trust. We didn't know who to trust within our camp. We didn't know who to trust. I mean, distant relatives started coming out of the woodwork everywhere, and it just was a crazy time in the whirlwind. And I just don't know. I don't know how we would have handled it. I'm sure we would have tried to adjust, but looking back, I don't think we could have.
Jeff, did you have like random relatives asking you to pay their Sears bill and things?
Oh man, we had crazy stuff happen. I mean, at that time, it wasn't digital, so VHS, unauthorized VHS tapes of our biography. I had a long lost cousin on there that I had never even met in my life, narrating his relationship with me and my family. It was totally bizarre. So just getting a little snapshot of that and how that was a little rough, I just can't imagine how folks would deal with it today and at a young age.
We're going to play a little game with Jeff. We're going to call it What Has More Views. So here's how it's going to go. We're going to give Jeff a pair of 98 Degrees songs, and Jeff is going to tell us which one he thinks, speaking of new technology, has more views on the official 98 Degrees YouTube page. Now keep in mind, the songs came out before YouTube was the thing. So here we go. Jeff, first up, I Do versus Because of You. What has more views?
Well, Because of You ranked higher on the charts, but I Do has lasted and transcended time a little bit better than Because of You, so I'll say I Do.
Let's see. Is he right? Roll it, Leo. That's right. I Do has 37 million views, and Because of You has 22 million views. Wow. Such a good song. Okay, next up, Jeff. The Hardest Thing and My Everything.
Yeah, well, My Everything came out a little towards the end of our little cycle there. And Hardest Thing was a more popular song, for sure. So I'm going to go with The Hardest Thing.
Leo, is he right?
There can be no happy
That's right. The Hardest Thing has 15 million views, and My Everything close behind, but still number 2 at 13 million views. Close. Okay, finally, Invisible Man versus Give Me Just One Night.
I'm going to say Give Me Just One Night, only because I think that the song has more tempo to it. Invisible Man was kind of when we were still on Motown and we were essentially invisible to the public. I'm going to go with Una Noche.
Okay, and the winner is Leo? Nope, Invisible Man. Listen to this spread, though. Wait, listen to the spread. Invisible Man has 8.7 million views. Give Me Just One Night, 3.8 million.
Wow.
I know.
What a shocker. Yeah, I mean, that's, well, I like that song better, so that makes me really happy.
Well, Jeff, as always, I so appreciate your time whenever you can give it to us, and I can't wait to see the show. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, Jason. I appreciate you guys. Thanks as always.
Thank you. Thanks. Catch a boy band Christmas at Mystic Lake. That's right, Mystic Lake. On December 21st for tickets, no matter where you're watching our show, boop, right there, boybandchristmas.com. Can I tell you really quick, Lori Lees Fisher is one of the executive producers here. And I changed her name. I don't want to embarrass her, but and she loves Jeff, and she booked Jeff. She handed me a sheet. Now this sheet is supposed to be info about Jeff. All it is things that Lori likes about Jeff. That's all this is. I'm not joking. This is supposed to be questions about Jeff. It's all things that Lori likes about Jeff. We'll be right back in a moment. I have re-fallen in love with 98's first album. I'm not kidding. This is all about Lori right here. Anyway.
What song she likes.
It's Monday, which means it's time to open up the Jason Show mailbag. Open it up, Leo. Here we go. So first up, a sweet message from Kay and Vern. I like that name. That sounds like a restaurant. I like that. Anyway, Kay says, my husband Vern discovered the Jason Show in Duluth, and I watched it every day. The show didn't air in Walla Walla, Washington at the time. So listen to this. He now has cancer, so he moved to Superior, Wisconsin for family support. No matter what his night is like, he gets up for the Jason Show, even if he has to go back to bed right after. Thank you for providing us with the show. No, Kay, thank you. And on behalf of us, give Vern our very best. We love you. Up next, a comment from Pam. She says, I'm a brand new viewer. Hi, Pam. I've listened to my daughter rave about your show, so I took a look, and now everything stops for 1 hour. Well, thank you, Pam.
Pause.
Thank you, sweetie. I appreciate that. That's nice.
That is very
Say hi
sweet.
to Pam.
Hi, Pam.
Hi, Pam.
Hi.
Next up, a question from Friday's show. Leslie asks, who is Pierre on the show today?
Whoops.
Very fun. However, Kendall never introduced him. Kendall.
I think I was like, and
filling
Pierre's
in.
here.
Yeah.
That was kind of it.
Pierre was filling. I love Pierre. Hi, Pierre. I am a big Pierre fan.
Yeah,
so.
we love the news. He's in our sports department.
Yeah.
And he'll help out if Jason's gone.
Yeah, I always tell the bosses, fine. I'm a big fan of his. He's so good. Nancy is up next. Hi, Jason. I'm feeling super disturbed by the clips you've shown of the Jeffrey Dahmer Netflix show. Having watched full episodes yourself, I have to ask, how were you sleeping at night? Not well. That's right. Next up, proof that you all, I say this a lot, y'all notice everything. Almost. So we got several comments this week about the marmot, the critter behind Kendall, on Kendall's close-up. Raymond asks, why did you guys move the marmot yesterday? And Richard says, hey, the beaver keeps moving.
Here he is.
Okay, first of all, several things to cover. A, it's not a beaver. Eric we only has a marmot. And number 2, we don't know why he moved, but we're very sorry. Okay, thank you, Leo. Yes. We're gonna leave him right there.
He and Oliver the otter got in a little spat, and so he had to move out for a minute.
But yeah, we promise. Again, you wouldn't think people would notice that, but people notice that. Okay, I saved the best for last. Here we go. Finally, several comments about what I said about the eyebrows. Okay, I'm sorry.
I told you they were going to email you.
I know. Okay. Comments I made about the eyebrows of a contestant on the Great British Baking Show, which by itself, that sentence is just weird to me. Anyway, Delinda says, I agree with you, Jason, about the eyebrows. It's the first thing you notice when that contestant comes on screen. A viewer on YouTube said, check some men out, Jason. Some have terrible thick eyebrows that need to be trimmed. Yeah, okay. Now, another YouTube comment, Jason, let's not say bad insults about eyebrows in women. And Belle says, picking on a woman for her eyebrows, you're getting as bad as Wendy Williams, the OG Mean Girl. Here's the deal.
Okay.
Look, I don't think I'm quite that mean. I tend not to make comments like that.
No.
But I don't. But sometimes I get riled up. You know, people may not know this, and there's no reason for you to know this. A lot of the show is ad-libbed, and my only goal is to be snarky and a little snitty to make you laugh, and you do this kind of thing without a net, is what I like to say. And sometimes you just want to make people laugh, and you say comments that I don't like body shaming stuff, and you guys know that. You'll never hear a fat joke on the show, but look, what I said about the eyebrow was I'm standing behind it because it was observational. It's the first thing I noticed about that lovely lady, and sometimes,
well, and I poked
I'm not
the bear.
nice all the time. I do have a little snitty side to me, and that's what came out. So if it offended a woman, I definitely don't like offending women. I'm very sorry. Yeah.
And I probably didn't help by continuing to poke the bear. Just poke, poke, poke.
No.
Say it again.
Oh, no. I do it. You know how when you say, even if you don't have a show, you know how you say something and it's coming out like the horses, it's coming out of the stable.
And you're like, oh.
And you're like, I'm going to get a comment about this. And we did. And we did. But, again, sometimes I have a little snitty streak to me, and
just
that came out.
Fire and spice.
Yes, because you know what? I notice everything. So appearance-wise, I compliment you constantly.
All the time.
Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna take a break. Thanks for your comments, everybody. We'll be right back. Back in a moment. Oh yes. No more eyebrow comments. Welcome back. You look beautiful today.
Thank you, Jason. You look lovely, too.
Thank you. Time now for our first ever Merch Monday. With the Jason Show swag store open for business, we want you to share what you're buying, like snap a little photo. So first up, Stacia. Hi, Stacia. On Twitter, she shared the picture saying, look what I got in the mail today. I can't wait to wear it. Thank you, girl. And, okay, this makes me smile. This is my third grade teacher, Mrs. Freeze. And she says, I love my new shirt and coffee mug. And Mrs. Freeze, I love you, and I wouldn't be sitting here without you. She changed the trajectory of my life, and that's why I will always defend and stick up for teachers. I love them. Our swag shop offers mugs, t-shirts, water bottles, ashtrays, and more. If you aim...
Small dogs.
Cigarette lighters. If you aim your camera app at the QR code on the screen right now, it will take you to the shop. We've also posted links on our Facebook and Instagram pages. And once you get the items, put them on, snap a picture, and we'll show them on Merch Monday. We'll be right back, everyone. Back in a moment. Love you, Mrs. Freeze. Love you. Welcome back. Time for our surprise goodbye. You know how this works. I don't know what's in this until right now. It's Oktoberfest season in Germany, and one waitress is showing off her skills. Watch as she carries huge stacks of beer through a hall in Munich. Her impressive feat has been watched on TikTok nearly 20 million times. The guy who shot the video captioned it with the word respect. Yeah. That is.
They do. It's crazy.
Yeah. You've been there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's like a tree of beer.
Tomorrow on the show, Shannon and photographer Eric hit the street. Oh, my goodness. Let's just say anything can happen there. That's going to do it for us. If you're watching and you're a kid that's being bullied, you go out there and be yourself because nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Come on, Kendall.